Welcome back to the Dirty Hands Clean Money podcast. I got Blake Peterson on today. Hey, brother, can you explain who you are and explain about a little bit about your truck before we get started?
My name's Blake Patterson. I'm a part of Skynet, and I'm actually the Western Michigan leader. I'm not the state leader, but I help the state leader. Me and him are really good friends. Um, the What exactly would you like to know about the truck? I mean, there's a lot going on with it because it's definitely it stands out. It's unique. So
Well, the biggest thing is what was the thought process when you took the truck and you were like, well, I want to wrap it, and I assume that's a wrap, half of it. Um, there's like it's a pattern, right?
yeah, it almost has like a camouflage pattern to it, and it's actually a textured wrap as well.
And what was your thought process? What was like, oh yeah, I want to, you know, what made you think that, that was the move for the truck?
Um, I don't know. It was just kind of all in the moment. I have a friend that owns uh an auto shop per se, I guess. He does a bunch of different stuff, wraps and all that. And uh we were talking about wrapping the truck. I was initially going to wrap the whole truck, and but wrap it gets quite expensive, especially the depending on which kinds you get. It's textured and all that. And we were talking about it, and he's like, "Well, you ever see those chargers that are all half wrap?" I was like, "Yeah, I see that all the time." He's like, "Why don't we do that?" And that's kind of where it started. And then we found the wrap. It's actually it's called Shadow Black from Metro Restyling, and it's a 3M wrap. And we just kind of went with it. It wasn't like a really dragged out process or anything. We talked about it for like 5 minutes, and then that was the plan.
Does it just seems kind of funny because I just saw it's not new, but you got a new hood for the truck. Um, is that like the difficult part when you get like new parts and everything like that for the truck, and then you have to wrap them, especially when, I mean, you got that new hood and it was just primered, right?
Yeah, when I first got it, it was primer, and then I had to go to a shop and they got paint matched the truck. And yeah, it's kind of becomes a process because then you start having mismatched parts on the vehicle. But I'm a very impatient person when it comes to building my truck. I want things on it now, right away, and just kind of deal with the consequences as I go. I do get a lot of questions about the hood. People keep asking me if it's going to be wrapped or if I'm going to keep it that way. Surprisingly enough, there's actually people that want me to keep it like this and not half wrap it, but I got to keep the flow of things. It'll get wrapped eventually. It's just waiting, not having time. And I myself, I actually ended up getting COVID and got really sick. So I've been in quarantine, so I haven't been able to do anything with the truck lately.
So talk to me about walk me around the build a little bit. Wheels, tires, suspension. So you got some traction bars and everything like that. Walk me around the build a little bit.
So I'm running a 7.5 inch rough country lift with kryptonite upper control arms. And then we have rough country traction bars on it as well, especially because being up 7.5 inches, definitely want the traction bars to help out. And it completes the look. For wheels and tires, I got 24 by 14 with -76 offset hard rock afflictions. And I'm running 35 by 13 and a half AMP mud terrains. Um, Powder coat, we I had the truck already all built and was driving it for a while, and then we decided to do powder coat. So I had to tear it apart, and I got Christmas Spirit powder coat on there from Prismatic Powders. And it's actually really cool because it's got a red and silver flake in it. So it's not just a flat red. And then got the functional ram air hood that we got on there now. I do have Primo Dynamic tail lights, third brake light. And I'm waiting to put my headlights in, and they're all paint matched. and it's it's been a fun truck. I just trying to keep it going and find more things to put on it.
With the truck being the way it is and being so, one of a kind, what are the, comments you get from people when you drive this thing around, people see it, or even comments in, on Instagram?
Um, it gets a lot of attention, actually, more than I thought it would. Um, a lot of people actually really like it, really like the direction that I've been going with it, and surprisingly enough, doing this, I actually thought I was going to get a lot of ridicule and hate because, I mean, honestly, we're in the truck community and not everybody likes what everybody does. It's just kind of a part of it. But surprisingly enough, I've been to quite a few meets with it and everybody loves it. And I think my favorite thing is, especially because the truck is originally Big Free Red, and then it's got the black wrap on the other side, and people will come walking from either direction, and you see the red or the black, not really thinking of it. I get a lot of people that'll actually stop walking and walk backwards and look at the truck again because they don't realize that it's half wrapped until after they had walked by. So it gets a lot of attention. I love it. It's fun.
It really stands out. And I mean, I've seen tons of cars and everything with the half wraps. I mean, you had Gabe Farrell wrap his half marble. But that was like, I think he was the first, larger in everyone's face creator that did it. But I mean, there's not a lot of people out there besides cars, it seems like, that do a half wrap. It's definitely, it seems more like a personality choice sometimes. And it's I feel like you get conflicted, like, oh, I really like this wrap, but I still really like the paint, and you can kind of appreciate both sides of it. Switching topics a little bit, what's it like being on the Skynet team?
Oh, I absolutely love it. It's to me it's definitely more of a family than anything. Like, we have a Slack group and that has everybody in it, and like people are always down to help uh in any way, really. Like, there's just it's honestly a big family. It's everybody comes together, wants the best for everybody, and it's really awesome to be a part of it. I was honestly really surprised when Alan had approached me on Instagram about even being a part of it. I knew who he was prior. I had seen his truck on Instagram before, seen it on Facebook and a few different things. And then here he is in my inbox asking me if I would like to be a part of the team. And it kind of blew my mind because you have this big Instagram account, uh, a known SEMA truck, and here he is starting his own team. And uh, I wasn't one of the first people on the team because this is something that he had done for a little bit prior to asking me. But I was within, like, I think like the first 30 people or so that were on the team, and it blew my mind, and it still does even a year later after being on the team.
It's really expanded from what it's been. Can you explain to me a little bit about the people in Skynet? You kind of what you're talking about.
Um, I mean, we it's I don't know everybody. There's actually quite a few people on the team that, I mean, I don't even follow because I it's hard to keep up with it because there's so many of the builds, and you want to be a part of, you want to be a part of everything. The people are amazing. Really down to earth, easy to talk to. It doesn't matter if it's somebody that's been on the team for over a year or one of the new people that are just now coming on the team. It's just it's really nice. It's really cool to be a part of it.
There's no other space, I think. We've worked with Alan in the past with Thunder Customs. Unfortunately, things go back and forth on that, but you know, there's no other team like it. I mean, there's other clubs, of course, and there's other, families, what I would say, but even with the, okay, so Skynet only has what, 7, 8,000 followers on Instagram, but they're known by way more than 7 or 8,000 people, which is cool because you move over to Team Billet, they've got 200,000 followers, but I think, and this isn't, I don't know too much of Team Billet. I would love to get some people on to talk about them. But I know from what I hear way more about, Skynet on a daily basis than I do, Team Billet.
Yeah, it's blown up. It's blown up quite a bit. I mean, and we just keep getting bigger and more people keep joining, and it's crazy. And to your team billet thing, there's one person I know that I'm sure he would absolutely do this with you guys and talk with you. He's actually a part of Skynet as well, but it's Eric underscore team billet. He's he actually came on the team after I did, and he's blown up. He has an amazing truck, and I know he would definitely he'd be able to get on and talk with you guys about both teams, because he's a part of that, and he's also part of NSB as well, as am I. Um, it's just it's really cool. I mean, there's lots of people on the team, and it's just like I said, it's been blowing up and it's getting huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of things I think with Skynet as well. You guys get a lot of brand partnerships every now and then. Is that right?
Yeah, we have quite a few. I honestly I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Um, I was that I'm I am a state or I'm a health and state leader, but I kind of keep to myself a little bit with stuff, and because I'm still new to all the social media stuff, but I we do have quite a few partners on the team, and I know Alan's constantly working to bring more in for the team and just make it even bigger and better for everybody.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about that. I know you're saying you don't do a lot, but what role do you play in the Skynet team?
Uh, I, Honestly, it's hard to say. I don't even really know what role I play. I'm a part of it. I want to be a team player and help any way that I possibly can. Um, like I said, like I said before, it still kind of blows my mind that I'm even a part of it. And for me, it's just like sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, and I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing to help the team. And it, which kind of sucks because it makes me feel bad because I'm a regional leader and everything, and there's more that I should be doing and I could be doing, and I think it's something that I have to work on, but it's something I'm absolutely willing to work on because being a part of Skynet is it's amazing for me, and it's opened up a lot of doors, not just in the truck community but in my life as well, because it's helped me out a lot with a lot of things.
I mean, there's just such a large community behind it. Not only just the people inside of it. I mean, there's 1,100, 1,200 people in the group, but you know, there's all the people that watch it too. And there's, like I said, there's much more than the 7 or 8,000 people on Instagram.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Um, kind of moving forward on that. Um, switching back over to the truck a little more. What are your plans this year for the truck? Upgrades and shows wise.
For upgrades right now, I'm actually uh I don't really have too much going on upgrade wise. I've actually already spent way more than I planned to in the first 2 months of 2021. It definitely wasn't exactly what I thought was going to happen. I have brand new forged wheels that are coming, that I haven't really, a few people know about. I haven't really announced it because it's one of those things I'm trying to keep quiet. But I did end up going with BCR Forge to get some new 24 by 14s for the truck. Um, I do have a black armor mat coming. I was able to get with them, and they're actually one of the partners that we have with Skynet. So that worked out. That'll be a nice addition to the truck. Other than that, I don't really have like any kind of stuff that I'm modding on the truck this year because I've well, we plan on going to Daytona, and that's part of the reason. So I'm trying to save up for that because I will be in the Daytona show this year. So we're working on that. And then just doing a bunch of like Michigan meets that I can make it to. Unfortunately, I have 3 daughters, so money can be a little tight sometimes, and trying to get to shows doesn't always work out the way that I want it to. But I'm gonna
Of
try and
course,
make.
super busy, super busy.
Yeah, definitely.
Daytona's gonna be fun. Hopefully run down there this summer, probably from Monday to Monday. Try to get some good content out. We've got a lot of good interest in some, projects that we're working on, and hopefully we can get some more interest. I'm gonna dabble in maybe a sponsorship or two, because I was looking around the other day. Troll Clothing Company. I mean, ironically enough, their like tagline is "Dirty Hands, Clean Money," and I was looking through their page, and they had a highlights tab for podcasts, and I was like, okay, what's this? So I was like, oh, they're just gonna start a podcast because, why not? They've got a big enough brand; it makes sense. So I opened it up, and it said looking for it. Basically, break down the whole 3 paragraphs. It was like basically looking for podcasts to sponsor and or help out kind of thing. I was like, that could be really interesting. And I think ironically enough, that the content we produce with people, and then also the the name, of course. I mean, that would be super cool. Try to get some more people interested. I mean, if they moved, just 10% of their audience over, I mean, that's already, you know, 20,000 people listening to it. Maybe that doesn't stick, maybe 5% sticks, but that's perfect. And maybe we can start getting that podcast van that we're talking about in the works. I've gotten probably crazy amounts of DMs. Again, like, I mean, for the how big the podcast is not large, but 10, 15 DMs about talking about this podcast van and how it'd be super sick. I don't know if you heard much about it, but we're planning on doing a van that has its own studio inside of it that you can drive to
Oh,
shows and stuff. So then you can
that's
film
cool.
visual podcasts at shows on the road. You could film a fucking podcast while you're driving to a show,
Yeah,
technically, if you have a quiet enough van, of course.
yeah,
And that would be, you know, most guys drive down, and most guys drive. So, well, some guys don't drive down because then they have trailers and they have a tow pig with 2 or 3 trucks, right? So then you hook up with some of those guys who do 3 podcasts while you're going down the road because everyone drives down there, and of course,
yeah.
because they got to bring their truck.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. And I mean, definitely branch out any way you can and grow. I mean, that's it's the only way you can get anywhere. Is you got to branch out and make those connections.
After the podcast with Alan from Skynet, he was talking about Daytona. He was like, "Oh, you're going down to Daytona," and I wasn't planning on it. I was just gonna chill out, do my thing. And he was like, "Well, you got to come down. You got to film some things with the guys. We'll link up some more. We'll talk about some more projects, and that's what we're doing." And I was like, "Okay." So then that night, I booked my hotel room for Daytona. I booked my plane ticket because I'm not going to drive down there. I don't have any reason to drive down there. Um, and are ready to go just because, literally all because he said, "Oh yeah, you got to come down. You got to film some stuff." Because I think we're going to be changing the name of the Instagram. I think we're going to be doing some switch up things. I think we're going to change from the Instagram from Dirty Hands Clean Money podcast probably to Dirty Hands Clean Money Media, because I want to do video content as well. Like, the podcast thing is very enjoyable. I like talking to people, but um custom offsets, we talked about this quite a bit too. Custom offsets used to do build breakdowns, and I don't, they kind of do, they mix them in there. I mean, they do the rate your builds on the gallery and stuff like that, but I would like to do in-person build breakdowns, sit someone down in a chair with a mic, have them talk about their truck for 10 minutes, and then me and the guys will take a listen to it, and then we'll record, you know, 10-20 minutes of the truck, then splice them together and put out a 7 or 8 minute video doing a full build breakdown of the truck, and then make it enjoyable. Because I know there's plenty of, and not just custom offsets, there's plenty of brands that used to do that, and saw huge traction. I mean, we're not going to get that traction right off the board, but it's a little more, it's more content to put out there for people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to the Daytona thing, I know Alan had talked to you about that, and I believe he said there's 10 trucks just in his booth,
Yeah.
I believe. And then I honestly think there's quite a few other team members as well that are in the show too. I don't know how many, but I know there's quite a few. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 20 to almost maybe 30 of us Skynet people that might be at the show with our vehicles.
And that's the best part is getting our foot in the door. Like we just had a podcast with Jeannie May, truck model, and she's in the Diesel Hotties, I think Diesel Hotties booth. So we're gonna get a podcast. We're gonna get a visual interview with her, and then try to get she's gonna hook us up with some more gals down there in the booth. And the big thing is trying to build a community, trying to get some people interested.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
jumping on the business side, um, people sometimes have a hard time starting certain businesses and certain aspects of their life. The way I think about it, I have plenty of other things that give me income. I enjoy talking to people. This is something I really do enjoy and something I feel like I could give enough impact. And I know other people that can give feedback in terms of either entertainment or actual, build knowledge or advice and stuff like that. Um, to kind of go in the back end a little bit, the way I look at it for the people out there listening that maybe want to start a podcast, I don't know why. I mean, um, if you feel like maybe it doesn't have to be about trucks, maybe it's about something else you like, maybe it's about smoking pot. I don't know. You pick whatever you want. Smoking cigars. I don't know. There's a lot of people that do that probably would love a podcast, but um, the big thing is reaching out. Like it was, oh my God, and it worked out perfectly. And I'll give you an example. Um, I reach out to people that I feel that meet a certain standard when it comes to, um, I guess, I don't want us to sound bad either. I mean, everyone that I reach out to, I want on the podcast. Everyone I reach out to is not going to come on the podcast. That's the two different things, right? Um, I'll reach out to 30 people and I'll get 2 responses, but I reach out to 30 people knowing I'm going to get those 2 responses. So then I have the opportunity to, fill 2 out of 3 spots in a week. And that's a big thing too, is being consistent. But, you know, after the podcast, I know most of the time people enjoy it. Everyone so far has enjoyed the podcast. And this was the same thing with Alan. And it's not taking advantage of anybody. It's just being a little bit smart. Um, I knew Alan had a great following on top of him as well. And it really showed out when his podcast released because I think the Skynet episode, the Instagram picture has like 56 likes, and every other picture on that Instagram has like 12 likes. So really stands out. Plus the video, I think it's the second most viewed video on the YouTube channel, but that's just because the first most viewed video had been up for 2 weeks and people really enjoyed it. It was about building a clothing brand. And, he offered me a shout out really realistically without me, I guess, quote unquote, paying for it. Right.
Yeah.
You give out really good content. And I think that's a basic thing that some people do need to realize is how can you get out there without, paying for things. I mean, sometimes, with Thunder Customs, we had to give out a couple $1,000s worth of free product to get a following rolling, but that's what it is. And with this, you know, a podcast for me is just fun. I think people are always worried about the money, and I was listening to a Gary V interview today, and a lot of people just do it for the money. Like I said, this is very enjoyable for me, and it's very enjoyable for other people to come on and build some great connections.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you definitely got to do what you love, and if you enjoy it, I mean, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're just doing it for money. Then I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't see the point in it, like, because you can get money anywhere, but you should definitely do what you love. If you can make money doing what you love, then definitely go for that.
Of
And
course.
it's it's one of those things, like, not everybody sees it that way, but that's unfortunate. And
And yeah, to play the devil's avocado a little bit, I mean, especially when you're in a hard time for money. I mean, everyone is at some point. I know when I do respect the hustle very, very religiously when it comes to you taking the leap of faith and quitting everything and dropping everything to pursue your dream. It's definitely at that point about the money because you have to live, right? But
yeah,
once you're able to live, if you're still chasing the money, like, okay, the big thing is if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you'll figure that out once you know once you have that hustle and then you put in a couple months of work and you put in 16 hours a day, you'll figure it out. um the big thing with that is you got to respect the hustle, but you know there's a point. I mean, once you're good enough where you've got your basis and you're stable, you know you've got to like what you're doing.
yeah, definitely. And that's like with the truck community, like for me personally, I love lifted trucks. I love bag trucks. I love old muscle cars. Um, I actually have a 64 four-door Impala that I'm building as well. But with like the truck community, like for me personally, it's a leap of faith because a lot of this you don't get really anything back out of it other than like the attention and the compliments and everything. And but for me, um, this I it, for building this truck, I had two things in mind. I have a lot of people that I know personally that like to don't want me to succeed, and a lot of people have that in their life. And this truck is one of those things where I mean, it's kind of petty of me, which sucks. But at the same time, it's what drove me to build this truck. And because I told somebody that I wanted to run a 7.5 inch lift with 24 by 14s and run it all year long. And I had a bunch of people telling me, "Oh, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do it." So I did it. I I had bought this truck in April of 2019, and it was lifted in October. And it's been a constant project since. And I love it because I like proving people wrong. That's one of the things, but also like I said, I have three daughters, and I'm kind of using the truck as a way to show my kids that if you want something bad enough, you have to work for it. It's not just going to be handed to you. And I feel like with my truck, it's the best way that I can show my kids because it's something that I love and enjoy to do. And I can show them that if you want something, you need to work for it. And if you work for it, you're going to enjoy even more than just having something handed to you.
Well, yeah, and on top of that, it's I think the whole truck community as a whole, that's stupid how I said that, but as a whole, the truck community, and I guess anybody, you have to have an ego. I think some people are like, oh, having an ego is bad, blah, blah, blah. No, I think having an ego is great. It's how you use your ego is bad. That makes sense. But, um,
Totally.
it's, you know, okay, why do I start businesses consistently every couple months? One, I enjoy it. Two, it's a little extra money. Main thing is enjoy it, but you got that little extra profit on the side. Plus, I mean, I have a problem, I think. I don't know what it is. Like a lot of people have addictions. Like some people like collecting cars, some people like building trucks, some people like eating mattresses. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
fucking know, TLC. And I really like I have this wall and it has all my LLC paperworks on it for all my businesses. And I just like filling up that wall. And I think it's an ego thing. And my addiction is I like to see a lot of one thing in one place. So I love truck shows because there's tons of one thing in one place.
Yeah.
Um, if I like, there's like this lake in Colorado with like black balls all over it, so then it doesn't evaporate. That like stimulates my brain. I don't know. It's just everyone's got that weird addiction, and I think that's kind of partially where it comes from ego wise too. But um, you've got to have an ego to stand out too. Like
Yeah.
um, it's not ego is not a bad thing. I mean, I don't like how people portray it as something that is negative.
Yeah. And going back to something that you had said earlier, of Gabe doing the two-tone on his lifted dually that he had. Um, he had actually he had commented on one or two of my pictures, which again blew my mind because there's this big account commenting on my stuff, and I only have, I think it was like 3,700 followers or something. And yeah, I have 3,700 followers, and he doesn't follow me at all. And at least I don't think he does. I don't remember if he does or not. But here he is liking a couple of my pictures, and he had commented on one of them. And then next thing I know, I see a video, and he's got this half wrap dually, and I was like, I feel like you kind of took that from me, but that's all right because I like it. I like where you went with that.
And as long as you know that's where it's from, that's where it counts most.
And I'm not saying that. I mean, he could have had that idea forever, but I just thought it was funny. I kind of put two and two together. I could absolutely be wrong with it, but it just when I seen that he had the half wrap truck, and I was like, I don't know if you got that idea from me, but if you did, that's awesome. But I know there is another guy that's got a big account that actually have has a half wrap truck, and it was done before mine. I don't remember his account fully, but I think it's Mr. Butts.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, he's got that big lifted Ford, and it's a beautiful truck.
I think it's no ifs, ands, or buts now. I think that's what changed it to.
Yeah, and it's funny because he actually got tagged in one of my first posts after I had half wrapped the truck, and one of the only negative things I had gotten was one of his friends had commented on there and was like, "Mr. Butts did it better," and I was like, "Well, I mean, he definitely has more money than I do to play with, and I would sure hope he did it better. You know, like I helped my friend wrap my truck, and like if you got money to play with, I hope you can do things better than I do. But if I'm making an impact like that where somebody feels the need to kind of call me out on what I did because somebody else did it, I feel like I might have did something right, but I don't know.
Of course. And I think there was this idea I had a long time ago because from what I saw on TikTok, it was fuck TikTok. I hate it. It was a 2019 Mustang, I think, and he had half the car wrapped in a black vinyl. No, black matte, I think, and he painted a bunch of words on it. And I mean, at this time, it was a little depressing because at this time, I think he was going through a really bad breakup. And they were like, just sad shit, right? And I was like, oh, that sucks. But, I took that as that would be fucking sick on a truck. But you gotta, okay, people, and you and everyone else that do the half wrap trucks. I can't wait until either I have the opportunity or someone hears this or someone already has this idea, takes the opportunity and goes 10 times further with it and does half and half, literally half and half. So like the wheels are different color. The interior is upholstered half and half. The bed liner is like a next level matte, but half is one color, half is the other. And then they did like a theme behind it. Like you did half of it white, right? Very
Yeah.
clean looking angel kind of vibes, white and gold, and then did the other side like black and red, and did like devil Satan kind of. I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
want to
I
like
definitely know what you mean.
hurt anybody's
Yeah.
feelings, but that's the build essence. It's not like
Yeah.
I'd want to praise Satan or nothing like that, but um I think there's definitely a boundary. Like I don't know if you saw the Lil Nas X shoes. I think there's a
Mm.
boundary you overstep. Um
Yeah.
if you made a I mean you play it off like the angel and the devil on your shoulder, right? You play it off
Yeah.
like that because everyone's got one. So I mean, as long as you don't put like a bunch of satanic symbols on it and fucking drops of blood and bullshit, I think people will think it's okay at a point. There's a point to everything. And I think, with that, if it's built properly, I think it could be super cool for one. And I think it could be respected as a piece of art as well.
Yeah. And the thing with that too is like, um, you with the truck community, you want to stand out. And my biggest thing, like I always tell people, like I don't want to be a cookie cutter. I don't want to. And that's why I've been doing what I've been doing with the truck and trying to stand out more and more. But it's at the same time, like you, depending on the people that you're around, you get ridiculed for standing out because you're not fitting in with everybody else.
Which is
You know,
bullshit. Whoever says that, stop
yeah,
saying that.
yeah. It does happen, and it's going to happen because unfortunately, like as much as we want the truck the community to be like this big, awesome, wonderful family, it's not, because like a family, it's kind of, there's going to be those people that hate everything that you do, no matter what you do. And going back to what the build that you were just talking about, like that's actually some that's it's funny that you had said that because that was my kind of thought process with this truck, was to do something like that. But it was just, that's really, that's a lot of money to split things up like that and half everything. So it's definitely something like I would love to see somebody do that too.
And I
I
think that's what we're gonna. I really want to do this. And sorry for interrupting, but like
well,
there's a like a piece in the back of my brain that's I don't I want to create a series out of this too. So then it'll make the sponsors feel better too. I want to build a truck, build a badass. I don't want to get it. I want to build. Fuck, I'm just so flustered because it's such a great idea. I want to build this truck, right? And I want to go to one show every week for 1 year with this truck. I want to build it and I don't want to pay a dime for it unless it's gas. I mean, I don't really, and then I want to give it away, right? I want to give it away at the end or whatever. Not
yeah,
like not a fucking raffle, like you buy something, you get it kind of thing. No, like actually give it away.
yeah,
And I don't know how we'll do that, but I'm sure it'll do some charity thingy, maybe a Make-A-Wish kit or something like that. That'd be pretty sick. Um, or do a Make-A-Wish build itself. That'd be sick. Um,
definitely.
I just wish that some of those kids, instead of wanting Corvettes, they'd want a lifted truck. I wish.
Yeah,
Um, but I think that'd be so cool and make a big ass series out of it and be like, this is how, if you have a good enough idea, you don't have to pay for any of it. Do you know who Uncle Rhino is? He's kind of small, but he's got a very well-known truck.
no, I don't believe so.
I can't remember. We were working with him on a different project, but I don't think he paid a dime for his truck. I don't even think he paid for the truck. And it's $217,000 truck.
Wow.
And he didn't pay a dime for it. And I was like, I don't think, unless he paid for the truck. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't quote me on any of that. But
Yeah,
it's there's so many cool opportunities with things. And I wish I had $1 million to spend and, or the extra $100,000 set aside to build a new truck every year and take it to shows because there's a lot of ideas up in my head. Well, now they're on paper, but I make sure that's another thing, guys. Little note, make sure to write everything down that you have, whether it's a dumb or a good idea, write it down because trust me, you'll forget it and then you'll kick yourself because you won't remember. And then by the time you do remember, you probably lost a good opportunity. Um, Make sure you write ideas down. Um, but there's so many things like trucks to me. I guess my brain wants to bump up the ante no matter what. I see these trucks like sometimes I feel bad too because then I don't appreciate the smaller builds unless they like kind of stand out. Because my brain's like, oh, I've seen all these semi trucks and they all look the same. There's like
yeah,
no difference in the truck. Like the only things that I've seen stand out in a long time, Scoop S Scoop SMG's truck. Hostile Wheels does some weird fucking builds, which is awesome, cool, awesome fucking shit. Um, but like it's so similar. Like why the hell? Why does everything have to be the same? Why can't you make it different? Like why does it always have to be either a McGoy's 8-inch lift or an any level 12 to 14 or a plan B fab kind of all looks super similar. Not saying it's bad work, not saying it's bad work, but
yeah,
it's pretty cookie cutter if you ask me. But I mean they do some crazy cool stuff too when it comes to the custom builds. But
yeah, absolutely.
um it just all seems very, very similar nowadays.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is because, people want to have the big Instagram accounts, and they look at what these other big accounts are doing, and they just kind of follow suit with that because they're like, well, if it works for that person and they have a pretty standard, lifted truck, and nothing against anybody that doesn't do anything with their vehicles other than lift and throw wheels on it. But you get some of these people that have these huge followings with those kind of trucks, and then people just kind of follow suit because they want that too. They want that. They want to be noticed. And then you have like the people that do the standout kind of stuff. And I can't speak for everybody, obviously. I can only speak on my own account. But like for me personally, I I honestly thought that it would blow up a little bit more for me. But I mean, you got to put the work in for it, and sometimes you can't. Like it sucks. You kind of fall behind on stuff like that. And but for me personally, I'm just glad that I have the following that I do have, and that people even like the truck, because I'm my hardest critique. I I beat myself down on this truck all the time, and I constantly tell myself, "Oh, it's just shit. It doesn't look that good. People don't like it." But there's quite a few people out there that love this truck, and I'm grateful for the 3,700 people that love it. And if that's as far as it ever went, I'd be okay with
Of course. And I think someone I gotta give props to is Brandon 24 Valve. I mean, he's not gonna listen to this, I doubt it. But it seems like he takes the same truck and builds it over. Um, which is very cool. I mean, I think the culture of building a truck and selling it and building a truck, I don't know. I don't, especially when you don't pay a lot for it. Like, um, I can see if you're getting sick of it, but maybe you don't want to. A lot of people just do that to fund builds the next year. I mean, rightfully so, but I just don't like that culture. I feel like people should be holding on to some of their things a little longer. I mean, they're not old muscle cars; they're not going to appreciate as much, but you know, I think they're still when they go to sell them, I think they're priced a little higher than you'd think because of the stigma they've been built around, like the people that have driven them, the pages they've ended up on, and they do get priced higher because of that fact. And that's
that. Yeah.
definitely notable. But what are your thoughts on that when it comes to the it seems like the selling culture of trucks?
Uh, I'm kind of bad at that too. This is actually the longest I've held on to a vehicle in a little while. Um, Before this truck, I had a 2000. Oh, what was it? I think a 2011 SLE short bed GMC Sierra. It was on 24s, and I had it for like 3 months and sold it and got this truck and then lifted it. And for me personally, I can't sell this truck because I have too much money and I'll never get the. Obviously, when you never get your money back out of it, but people that have the accounts like YouTube accounts and the Instagram accounts that are monetized and they get money, um, they have a better chance and opportunity to be able to just build the same thing over and over, or build something different and sell vehicles and redo it. And then you have um, the people like me that aren't monetized, and I got to keep this truck. As much as I would love to get a new truck and build another one, I unfortunately can't.
Of course. And rounding out the podcast, what is your official opinion on squatted trucks?
Oh, ah. um, I personally, I don't, I don't like them, but I don't hate them. It's definitely one of those weird things. Like some of them look really good, some of them are a little ridiculous, but it's definitely in any kind of like automotive community. Like you do what you love, and you definitely sometimes you want to judge people's stuff, but it's just it's what they love and they want to do it. And you want to squat your truck, go right for it, because if you love it, go for it.
If you could put one word describing squatted trucks, what would it be?
Why?
Why? And with that, that has been the Dirty Hands Clean Money podcast. To all the squatted truck owners out there, why? Comment down below, let us know. But with that, brother, let them know where you can find you and let them know your plans here in the future.
You can find me on Instagram at _ Blake Patterson _. That's the only social media I have. And plans for the truck, I mean, we're just gonna keep going forward, and if I find something I like, it'll go on the truck eventually.
Of course. And with that, that has been the Dirty Hands Clean Money podcast. All those links will be down in the description, and we hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Really do.